Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at how you can make a colour chart using just 12 coloured pencils. So if you have a limited supply available at your hands, then this is going to be the video for you, because with just 12 pencils we can create a whole range of 144 different colour varieties. So carry on watching if you want to learn how you can do this. So we're starting off with a grid on my favourite paper. I'm using the Fabriano Artistico watercolour paper, and I would recommend creating a colour chart like this on the type of paper that you prefer to work on, so that you can see how the colours layer together on that particular paper. So if it's a slight colour, like it's an off-white, or you're using like a slightly brown toned paper, you can see how the colours are affected by that tone of paper. So mine is the Fabriano Artistico, but go ahead and use whatever colour paper or type of paper you want. And all I've got here is a 12 by 12 grid, so each of these little squares that you can see I'm colouring in are 1 centimetre in width and height, and I've got 12 rows, 12 columns for each of the 12 pencils in this set. So I've got 144 little boxes that I'm going to fill with each of these pencils. Now the pencils in question are the Faber-Castell Polychromos, and this is the smallest sort of standard set that you can buy. It's the set of 12 Polychromos in a nice little tin, and it's the cheapest that you can buy. So I've just selected the 12 colours from that set from my open stock pencils, and I'm just going to use those for this. You can see the first thing that I'm doing is just filling in a diagonal line from the top left to the bottom right with each of these colours. This particular box is where you have the, for example, the cadmium yellow and the cadmium yellow overlapping, so you're just going to get that pure cadmium yellow colour. So I've just added in that little diagonal so that I can see each of the colours in their sort of purest form without being mixed with any of the other colours first. So if you're familiar with colour charts, you'll understand how this works, but if you're unfamiliar, what we're going to do is add the colours along the top, so going from left to right along the top row there. We're going to add all of the white down one column, all of the yellow, and all the way through to the black down in one column, and then over that initial colour that we've added in the column on the leftmost area, then we're going to add the colours which are on the right, so coming down in the rows. So on top of the white column here, I've just added in the yellow, then the orange, then some red, magenta, and so on. And this will get you some different colour variations, because when it comes to doing the row of white, we're not going to be adding the white first underneath. We're going to be adding in all of those individual colours. So as you can see here, now down this column I'm adding in the yellow. But on the white row, you can see that we've added the white to begin with in the first box with the white, and then we're adding the yellow down first, and we're going to add the white over the top. So we're just going down across, or down all the columns first, and then we're going in and adding in the row colours over the top. So when it does come to the opposite side of that little diagonal line, we should get some really nice different colour variations going on in there. So how is this going to help you? Well, this is really going to help if you do have a very limited palette. So if you only have this 12 core set of Polychromos pencils, or whatever brand that you may be using, it's going to help you to learn how to mix your colours to create some different tones, and it's also going to give you a sort of expansion on those colours. So that's the main way in which this is actually going to help you. And using just a limited palette within a portrait as well really kind of makes it all connected, because if you're using certain colours to create certain tones, they're all going to be kind of similar, and they're all going to really work together. So this will also help you kind of evolve that kind of aspect of your drawing. It's also really interesting to see just how many colour variations you can actually create from just a few pencils. So as you can see, what we've got going on at the moment in the white column, you've got all of those colours, but they're really washed out, so you've got some kind of pastel effects, which is great if you're looking for sort of like botanical colours or anything like that. And in the yellow column, where we have added the yellow first and then overlaid some of those colours, a majority of those colours have actually turned out quite green in tone. So the first 5 are sort of yellowy orange tones, and then they go to green, and you've got some very nice green colour varieties going on. You've got a bright green, you've got a kind of kind of like a chromium green opaque. There's a good replacement for that colour in this little swatch here. And yeah, just lots of different natural kind of green tones, which again is good for botanical drawings, and it's also good for pet portraits as well, for creating shadows on orange areas or red areas. So already you can see just how many different colours we can create by overlaying just this small amount of pencils. So we've got about 48 different colours going on at the moment, and you can just see how different each one of them are. Some of them are fairly similar, but there are very slight colour variations, which is good if you need something that has like a little bit more orange or something that leads a little bit more red. You can refer to this colour chart and you can see which colours you need to mix together in order to create that certain colour for that area. The actual creation of this chart is really simple. As I explained, you just need to grid out however many pencils you want to swatch together to find colour combinations for. So you could just do this for 6 coloured pencils if that's all you have, or you could do it for even more if you want. You could do it for a set of 24. But bear in mind, the more colours that you do this for, the larger your grid is going to need to be. So if you were wanting to kind of swatch out 60 different pencils and see what kind of colour combinations you can get, you're going to need a lot of different blocks and you're going to need to fill in a lot of area. I think the optimum for this is roughly 12 coloured pencils. You could even go up to 24 if you wanted, but 12 is a good number. It gives you a lot of different colour variations. One thing that you could maybe include is a purple tone, because as you can probably see going through this, there aren't that many different kind of purpley tones that you can create with this core set. If you're wanting something a little bit more striking, it's really difficult to kind of create a mauve or a red violet or even a kind of crimson colour with just this set of pencils. So that is something that is quite difficult. You get kind of more natural muted kind of purples and mauves rather than those really striking ones that are kind of obviously unnaturally made. So what you can use your colour mixing sheet for is when you are picking colours for your reference photos. If you want to know exactly how to pick colours for that, by the way, I'm going to leave a link in the description for a video that I created on exactly how to do that. When you are picking colours, you can just reference this sheet like you would a colour swatch card. I'm also going to leave a link for those down below as well, so you can create some swatches of the coloured pencils that you have. You can really easily reference this sheet and you can find colour matches depending on what you've got in your reference photo. Instead of picking out of 120 pencils, you can just pick from these 12 pencils, and then you can really test your skills and try and mix these colours whilst you are drawing. So say you wanted a nice kind of cobalt green tone, and you can see that there's a kind of cobalt green tone by mixing in some of the emerald green and the phthalo blue. So instead of picking out a cobalt green from your coloured pencil set, you could just pick out those two pencils, which are often going to be used for other areas as well, like highlights or some shadows on some red or orange tones, and then you can mix them together to create that cobalt green colour for whatever you may need it for. So you're going to limit down your palette, which is going to make a really nice cohesive drawing, and you're just going to have some fun and experimentation, and you're going to help to grow your skills by mixing those colours and experimenting like that. Now you may notice that there are a few similar colours when you get to adding the blues and the greens together, but there are very subtle differences that the camera's not quite picking up. So where I've layered the green on top of the blue, obviously the colour is a little bit more towards the green toned area, and where I've layered blues on top of greens, obviously it's a little bit more blue toned. The camera's not quite picking that up, but there are very subtle differences in the shift of tone in some of these swatches. What I love about using this particular 12 set of Polychromos pencils is that you do get a very wide variety of natural tones. Even though you do have some really bright colours like that yellow and the emerald green and even the magenta, not really a kind of natural colour, just by layering them with other colours like the burnt ochre and even some of the greens in there, you are getting some really lovely natural looking tones, which is perfect for wildlife portraiture and also for people portraiture as well. And as I said, botanical drawings or basically anything really. This is a really nice core set that you can mix together to kind of create any kind of tones that you want. So this is just a really quick explanation of exactly how I've done this. If you want to watch the full thing, it's about an hour tutorial over on my Patreon page and also my website, and I go through exactly what I'm doing and exactly how you can use this and all of that jazz over there. So if you want to watch that, I'm going to leave the link in the description below for both Patreon and the website. But that's pretty much it for this video. I really hope that it has helped inspire you to create your own colour mixing chart with whatever coloured pencils you have. Let me know how you get on in the comments below, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye!